Hey everyone, this is another video on my Supra. So I'm looking at trying to get the front bar to fit properly, and it's become apparent that I may have two bent chassis rails. So when I looked at the original crush bar that came off it, we can see here, so this came from there, and you can see it's sustained an impact damage there. This is the new one that I fitted. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the correct curve in it. And you can see down in there the damage on the rail. And I didn't think that that damage was sufficient enough to have moved the rail across. But when I did some measurements, I found that that might not be the case. So what I've got here is a makeshift Tremel gauge, I believe it's called, or tram gauge. So what this does, it measures from a point to another point, and in the workshop manual it actually specifies the exact measurements from point to point on certain parts of the body. So yeah, this is what I'm doing here, just seeing from a hole down here to one of the guard bolts, and then we do it across the other way. And then that will tell me how straight the rails are compared to the rest of the body. So I've measured one side, so then I turn the gauge around. We're measuring across the other way now. It'd be good if this didn't have any wobble in it, it'd be much more accurate, but it'll suit the purpose of what I'm trying to do, which is just give myself a rough idea. And yeah, there we go. So according to this, I'll just grab you there. So if you can see there, looks like we're about 10 mil out. So that tells me that the right side, or driver's side, because we're in Australia, chassis rail is over about, I'm going to say 5 to 10 mil, something like that, because on the other side that hole lines up perfectly with that wooden dowel. It just drops straight into there, and I can kind of make it drop in there, but yeah, that's not where it wants to be. It wants to be there. So there, that's definitely got bent rails from that accident damage that was on that side. So the remedy that I'm going to have to go through for this is basically it needs to go on a rack. I need to put a strap around here with a chain. We need to chain it up on that side, sort of around where the K-frame is, and we're going to need to pull this way so that it's all square again. The reason that I worked out that something might be bent is that when I fitted the bar, these clips that go into the top of the bar here that has the rubber strip where the bonnet closes onto, it wasn't sitting right. It was all the way over that way. And I thought, well, I can't move this because it bolts in between the rails here. So the only thing that can be bent is that the rails are pushed over that way. As you can see, everything bolts in. There's no adjustment here. There's very little adjustment down the bottom, and the only adjustment down the bottom here is up and down. And this has no adjustment at all. So that's set from factory at that position by Toyota. So there we are. Yeah, we've got some heavy work to do. I'll have to visit my friendly panel shop and borrow their rack for a little bit and get that sorted. I might make a video about doing that. We'll see how we go. So I'm going to remove some of this stuff so that I can have a look at the rails. So I'm just going to pull the airbox out and have a bit of a look in there. I don't think it's held in by much at all, if anything. Oof, that's nice and dodgy. and we'll get in there and have a bit of a look at the rail to see if there's anything obvious that we can see. Not really. I think because the bend is so minor, it's not really going to show up anywhere. So basically I'm looking for anything that's pushed the rail this way. So any kind of lump or bump. Nothing's really showing up. I would say it's going to be from about here where the K-frame is, because that's going to be the strongest point. So I was sort of looking around here, but it could even be that it's a very minor sort of curve in it. Yeah, I just can't really see anything. I suppose what I could do is strip the other side and then find points like that and do my gauge trick again, and I'd be able to pinpoint exactly where the bend is. But I don't think that I will do that. So it's a lot of work pulling all of that stuff out. There's aircon lines and all that sort of thing. I think, as I said earlier, what I'll do is just put it on the rack, give it a little bit of a pull to the left, and then see how it looks and measure it up again, and hopefully we can get it straight. I've put the front bar back on, as you can see, just to show you exactly what I was dealing with. So the bar fits pretty nice without any of these clips in. The bonnet's open and the bar's just sitting loose, but as you can see, it would sit pretty well. I mean, it needs a little bit of adjustment, but there you go, sort of well within what you can work with on these. And I don't know if you can see, I hope you can see down in here, none of these holes line up. So if I open the bonnet, I'll just pop you back on the stand. So this is the aluminium piece that I was talking about. And when you drop this on, it's meant to have little clips that go through. And you could see that I would have no chance of getting those on where the bar actually does want to sit. So that's what sort of led me to this problem. As I said, this piece under here doesn't adjust left or right. It's set by the factory. So yeah, that's where this issue has reared its ugly head for me, where it just doesn't quite work for me. So there you are.